Pictures also tell the news, and the photographic staff and equipment of the Richmond newspapers are among the finest in the South. Like the reporter, the news photographer must cover the news while it happens. Sometimes he is in danger. Sometimes he must wait patiently for a picture. But always, like the police reporter and the war correspondent, he operates at high tension and with accuracy in getting the picture that supplements the news. An historic assignment for reporters and photographers is the inauguration of Virginia's governor, Colgate W. Darden, Jr. Lieutenant Governor William Tuck takes the oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the state of Virginia. Climax of the ceremony is administration of the oath to Governor Darden, a former World War aviator who finds new war duties awaiting him. The work of the news photographer requires him to take photos from many angles, perhaps close by the microphone, or making a shot from a plane, or shooting a long-range view of the crowd. Few persons are aware that in processing his news pictures, the photographer spends a great deal of his time in semi or total darkness in the developing room. The Times Dispatch newsleader darkrooms with their modern equipment make it possible for the photographers to turn out their pictures while news is still news. Located in these up-to-date air-conditioned darkrooms is the Associated Press wire photo receiver, which makes it possible for pictures to be received within a few minutes from any part of the world. This cylinder contains a negative film, which is scanned with a beam of light, focused to a point 1/200th of an inch in width. The electrical impulse causes the light beam to vary in intensity. It takes 8 minutes for the complete scanning process. The photographers receive the call from Associated Press headquarters in a distant city and are given a list of the pictures available. The picture editor makes the decision on what photographs are to be received. Then, with a few lineup adjustments, the operator pulls a lever, which sets the machine for the starting impulse, bringing the pictures into the office. Retouching artists are employed to bring out details, making the picture clear, so that when it passes into the hands of the engraver, nothing will be lost in reproduction. Here is a map specialist who serves to illustrate on a broad scale the geography of the news. After the pictures leave the art department, they're sent to the engraver, where they're mounted on a copying board and photographed with a huge camera. The negatives are then put in contact with sheets of sensitized metal known as flats. And the results, pictures on metal. They are developed in much the same manner used by the photographer to put his pictures on paper. An inspection of the finished flat, and then it's put through an etching process, which causes the picture to stand out in relief on the metal. Sometimes it is necessary for undesirable or unneeded portions to be cut out. This machine, called a routing machine, is used for this purpose. Fred O. Seibel, editorial cartoonist, is one of the best-known artists in his profession in the United States. His work is frequently reprinted and quoted in the nation's leading publications. Another member of the staff is widely known for his wordless cartoons, one of the most difficult expressions of the art. This artist, in addition, draws a weekly feature called Old Dominion Oddities, offering prizes for oddities of daily life. Advertising is divided into three classes: national, display, and classified. National advertising concerns itself with those products which are nationally manufactured and distributed. Display advertising lists for the reader those goods or services which are available through local merchants. Classified advertising brings to the reader a wealth of goods and services offered by individuals. The advertising departments also have their own artists who serve advertisers exclusively, assisting in the preparation of advertising sketchings and drawings. Copywriters trained in writing advertising assist the merchants and other advertisers in presenting an effective message of their products. All copy, whether it be advertising or news, is conveyed by pneumatic tubes to the composing room, where it is distributed to the intertype operators. Many men and machines are required for the mechanical process of putting copy into type. These machines bear an outward similarity to huge typewriters, but they operate on different principles. The operator employs a light touch on the keyboard to release letters and combinations which are automatically set up in groups of words, one column wide. These column width slugs, as they're called, are dropped automatically into place after having been cast from molten metal contained within the machine itself. Many hundred tons of this metal are used each year in getting out your daily newspapers. The cooling type is then sent to the makeup men standing in front of metal forms, each form being the exact size of a newspaper page. Busy hands fly as fast as machines in putting the type into the forms. Once in the form, the type is carefully spaced or leaded out to ensure a balanced and typographically correct page. A proof is pulled from each column of type and given to proofreaders who correct the proofs for any errors in type, grammar, or fact. The proofroom staff works in pairs, one reader reading aloud to another person who follows him with a pencil. The finished type is now in the form, and 2 completed pages of the paper stand ready for their final journey to the press. A piece of heavy material resembling cardboard is placed on top of the page of type, and then it is put through a roller machine which applies 175 pounds of pressure to the square inch, making an impression of the type on the cardboard-like material known as a matrix, or more commonly a mat. This mat is then put into a dryer, which automatically shapes it to exactly half the circumference of the press cylinder. It is then sent to the stereotype department, where it is placed into a machine. The operator pulls a lever, and almost 100 pounds of molten metal is poured into the curved cylinder holding the mat, where it is molded into an exact impression of the page of type. The stereotype pages are then numbered. The first page is always the last to be stereotyped. It is the last to roll because its columns must be kept open until the last minute for last-minute news. The plate, still hot, is subjected to mechanical cooling before rolling down the track to the press room. Because of the tremendous weight of these giant rotary presses, the press room of the Times Dispatch news leader, one of the largest in the South, is located in the basement. The presses are capable of turning out 40,000 copies an hour. When the plates arrive in the press room, they're taken off the conveyor and placed on the cylinders of the roaring machines. The most thrilling sound to the ears of any newspaperman is that of the presses rolling. It is the swelling symphony of a difficult job well done, one that is done every day of every week on the Richmond newspapers. A tachometer shows the pressman the exact running speed of the press. The precision with which these giant presses operate is such that they are not even stopped for changing rolls of paper. The 1,250 tons of paper used in 1 month to print the Times Dispatch and the News Leader would make a carpet 1 page wide and 30,500 miles in length, enough to encircle the Earth 1 1/5 times at the equator. Some of the early finished copies are checked to be sure that no imperfections exist, such as bad inking. The papers are moved from the press room to the mailing room by means of a swift conveyor, where they're counted and bundled for distribution. The presses can deliver newspapers at the rate of 660 per minute, so they must be cleared with great rapidity. Every 50th paper is mechanically turned at an angle to facilitate the counting and packaging. Within 2 minutes after the presses start, bundles of papers are tied by the wire tying machines. Individual copies are wrapped for mailing to out-of-state readers, or in response to requests for additional copies of a certain issue. Bundles are carried out of the mailing room on a conveyor belt to waiting trucks, which make deliveries to buses, trains, and towns on prompt schedule.